You mistake comfort for success, and that's why you remain exactly where you are. Most people believe hard work translates to wealth, yet they never question why millions work themselves to exhaustion while only a few transcend financial gravity. The answer isn't in what billionaires tell you publicly, it's in what they internalize privately. What if every piece of widely accepted business advice actually functions as a convenient distraction, keeping the masses occupied while the truly wealthy operate on entirely different principles? Ask yourself, why do you keep consuming success formulas that have yet to transform your reality? The tension exists in plain sight. You wake each morning to participate in an economy designed by others, believing someday you'll break through to the other side. Society presents a specific narrative about wealth creation. Start something. Work hard, persevere, scale. Yet this prescribed path keeps most trapped in perpetual pursuit. The masses chase what billionaires said yesterday, not what they're doing today. You've been conditioned to view business through a framework that emphasizes struggle, risk, and sacrifice, concepts that keep you locked in psychological limitation while the ultra-wealthy operate from an entirely different mental architecture. This tension between public advice and private practice creates the perfect environment for continued economic stratification. The truth is uncomfortable. The billionaire mind isn't simply your mind with more zeros attached. It's fundamentally different in how it perceives value, time, and human psychology. Friedrich Nietzsche's concept of will to power provides the philosophical foundation for understanding true wealth creation. Nietzsche rejected the notion that humans primarily seek pleasure or happiness. Instead, he proposed that our fundamental drive is toward power. Not merely power over others, but power as creative force, as capacity to shape reality. The billionaire embodies this will to power in its purest economic form. They don't merely accumulate money. They extend their capacity to influence reality itself. When Nietzsche wrote that man does not strive for happiness, only the Englishman does that, he was rejecting the shallow utilitarian view that humans simply want comfort. What we truly desire is the expansion of our will over our domain, whether that domain is intellectual, artistic, or financial. The billionaire understands instinctively what Nietzsche articulated philosophically, that comfort is the enemy of greatness. That explains why real wealth creators are never satisfied with mere success. They recognize each plateau as merely a foundation for the next ascent. Consider how Nietzsche described his concept of the Übermensch, not as someone who dominates others, but as someone who has mastered themselves and transcended conventional morality and thinking. The billionaire mind operates beyond the constraints of conventional financial wisdom, beyond the common sense that keeps most people financially constrained. This is why billionaires often seem paradoxical. They're operating from a different philosophical framework altogether. Truth 1. Sell first, build later. The conventional mind believes in perfect preparation before action. The billionaire mind understands that market validation precedes investment. When you hear, go out and sell something, this isn't merely practical advice. It's philosophical recognition that value exists only in transaction, not in conception. Those who never start are waiting for imaginary permission. Those who succeed have the audacity to offer value before they've perfected their systems. Truth 2. Easy businesses don't exist. The pursuit of easy money reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of wealth creation. When billionaires say all businesses are hard, they're acknowledging Nietzsche's truth, that growth requires resistance. Financial resistance isn't an unfortunate side effect. It's the necessary catalyst for expanding your capacity. Those who avoid difficulty remain precisely where they are. Those who embrace it transform themselves in the process. Truth 3. Work-life balance is initial fiction. The notion that you can immediately have both wealth creation and perfect personal equilibrium is a comforting lie sold to those who will achieve neither. When work-life balance becomes your initial priority, you've already decided against extraordinary outcomes. The billionaire recognizes that a business is a living entity requiring total commitment in its formative stages. This isn't workaholism, it's philosophical recognition that birth, whether of a human, an idea, or an enterprise, requires focused intensity. Those seeking immediate balance rarely build anything significant. Those willing to temporarily sacrifice create the foundation for later freedom. Truth 4. Value is external, not internal. Most entrepreneurs are infatuated with their own ideas. They see value through their eyes rather than through their customers. This philosophical error, placing your perception above market reality, accounts for countless business failures. The billionaire mind understands that value exists solely in the mind of others. Your conviction means nothing without their validation. Truth 5. Pursue fanaticism, not just sales. Initial sales data can be misleading. What truly indicates future success is not mere transactions, but emotional intensity of customer response. When someone encounters your offering and declares they cannot live without it, you've created something with inevitable momentum. The philosophical truth: enthusiasm scales exponentially. Mild interest evaporates instantly. Truth 6. Small failures, not catastrophic ones. Nietzsche wrote, "What doesn't kill me makes me stronger." But this doesn't mean seek destruction. The billionaire mind embraces incremental failure, the kind that teaches without destroying. They avoid existential business risk while constantly testing boundaries. The test: can you distinguish between instructive failure and destructive failure? Truth 7. Dream limitation is the greatest constraint. Most people's financial ceiling is determined not by market conditions, but by their psychological capacity to envision themselves at higher levels. The billionaire mind continuously expands its vision of what's possible. When they say, "dream bigger," they're not offering motivational cliches. They're identifying the primary constraint on most people's financial reality. Truth 8. Happiness is not achievement dependent. Perhaps the most profound philosophical truth: wealth amplifies who you already are. If you're miserable with little, you'll be miserable with much, just with better scenery. The billionaire understands that happiness is dispositional, not circumstantial. This explains why many wealthy people continue working long past financial necessity. They recognize that purpose, not possessions, creates fulfillment. Truth 9. 3 daily priorities. Move mountains. In a complex world, simplicity creates forward movement. The discipline of identifying 3 non-negotiable daily outcomes and completing them without exception is how billionaires maintain momentum while others become overwhelmed by options. This is the philosophical application of directed will. Most dissipate their energy across too many targets. The wealthy concentrate theirs with surgical precision. Truth 10. Clarity of numbers reflects clarity of mind. Every business has vital signs, key metrics that predict future health. The billionaire mind maintains intimate familiarity with these numbers, not from obsessive micromanagement, but from philosophical recognition that attention directs outcomes. What you measure consistently improves. What you ignore deteriorates invisibly. Truth 11. Motivation. During darkness defines trajectory. Anyone can maintain enthusiasm during success. The billionaire capacity for maintaining momentum during apparent failure separates temporary setbacks from terminal ones. This is Nietzsche's amor fati, the love of fate, even its difficulties, applied to business. When everything seems to be falling apart, your response determines whether you're eliminated or elevated. Truth 12. Trend anticipation trumps competition. The mass of entrepreneurs chase established opportunities, the equivalent of arriving at a gold rush after the claims have been staked. The billionaire mind anticipates where value will emerge before consensus forms. This isn't mere trend spotting. It's philosophical recognition that timing often matters more than execution. Truth. 13. Customization creates unassailable value. In an age of algorithmic replication, the billionaire understands that personalized experiences create disproportionate value. What can't be easily copied commands premium pricing. This is the application of philosophical uniqueness, the recognition that true value increasingly lies in the irreplicable. Truth 14. Authenticity sells. When technique fails, sales methodologies matter less than the fundamental human connection. The billionaire understands that authenticity creates trust, and trust creates transactions. This isn't merely practical, it's philosophical recognition that humans crave genuine connection in an increasingly synthetic world. Truth 15. Easy money is expensive education. The pursuit of shortcuts inevitably leads to costly lessons. When billionaires warn against easy money, they're not being moralistic. They're acknowledging that financial physics cannot be circumvented. Every dollar gained without value creation eventually exacts its price, often with interest. Truth 16. Embrace necessary chaos. Scale inherently involves disorder. The billionaire doesn't seek perfect systems, they build robust ones that function amid inevitable disruption. This philosophical acceptance of chaos as a growth component, rather than an aberration to be eliminated, allows them to expand while others become paralyzed by imperfection. Truth 17. Communication responsibility lies with you. The burden of clear communication always rests with the speaker, not the listener. The billionaire recognizes that if others don't understand their vision, the failure is in their explanation. This philosophical ownership of outcomes, rather than blaming others for misunderstanding, accelerates progress where others remain frustrated by not being heard. Truth. 18. Pressure indicates privilege. As responsibility increases, so does pressure. The billionaire reframes this not as burden, but as evidence of capacity and opportunity. This philosophical reinterpretation of stress transforms what breaks others into what strengthens them. Pressure becomes not something to avoid, but something to utilize. Truth. 19. Decision-making requires both instinct and analysis. Major decisions require both immediate intuition and deliberate reflection. The billionaire trusts their initial response, but verifies it through temporary detachment. This balanced approach, neither purely emotional nor coldly analytical, creates decisions that withstand both present scrutiny and future consequences. Truth 20. Leadership requires narrative mastery. People follow stories before they follow strategies. The billionaire understands that leadership isn't about command, but about creating compelling narratives that others internalize as their own. This philosophical recognition that humans are fundamentally story-driven creatures explains why certain leaders create fanatical commitment, while others with similar credentials generate mere compliance. The philosophical distance between conventional financial thinking and billionaire cognition isn't measured in degrees. It's an entirely different dimension of understanding. What appears as luck to the observer is actually the inevitable manifestation of a mind operating from different axioms. The wealth gap in society reflects not just economic inequality, but philosophical inequality, differences in how reality itself is perceived and engaged. Nietzsche wrote that all things are subject to interpretation. Whichever interpretation prevails at a given time is a function of power and not truth. The billionaire has internalized this concept completely, recognizing that economic reality is itself malleable to those with sufficient will and clarity of vision. Your financial evolution begins not with tactics, but with transcendence, moving beyond the prescribed narratives that keep most contained within comfortable limitations. If this philosophical reframing of wealth creation has shifted your perspective, write in the comments. Will to wealth is will to power. Millionaire Brain, where thought becomes freedom.